Hey, welcome back. It's chapter 5, the beginning of chapter 5. It's Project Zomboid, and it's Ace. And wow, so what happened since chapter 4? The big news is a fractured left leg for wow, felt like forever. Was probably a couple months. And the lesson learned is that floors in isometric are not what they appear. So what happened was we were up here on the ceiling roof, top floor of the new shop edition, and a floor piece was missing. But because the isometric shows you through the floor below, if there is a floor, 4 spaces over and 4 spaces over, whatever it is, 3 and 3 or 4 and 4, on the floor below that is the same material, which we have that ledge around this top of this first floor, then you can see that floor through the hole in this floor, and it looks spot on. So we had just a few pieces left to put in here, and I was running back across to try and get it done before the light was gone for the day. And there were 3 floor pieces missing right here that looked like they were there because we could see the ones below them. And I fell right through and went all the way down to the ground. So we fell 2 stories and fractured the leg, which stayed that way for, like I said, it felt like forever. January 11th is when it cleared up, and here we are on January 18th. It was just a day or two ago that I took the splint off, and it was completely healed. On the 11th, when I could start walking pretty normally, I took the splint off, but it was still fractured. So somewhere around 2 months recovery. We do have the slow healer trait, which didn't help. But that was no picnic for sure. But what that does mean is that we now have a working, mostly, shop space here. And I'll walk down there in just a second. The barnyard looks much the same, and that's going to change here in chapter 5. That's one of the priorities for chapter 5, is I'm going to go ahead and clear all this stuff out of here and finish knocking down these trees. You can see how much of this area we've already taken care of, but we're going to finish knocking all this stuff down and cleaning this area up. And then we're going to have, against this fence, we're going to have some animal pens with some barns and so on, and bring a road across probably somewhere around right here. I don't know. We'll see how the spacing works out. So there's that. That's the big one. Another thing that we did was brought this fuel container over from the mall, from the big shopping mall, and it had fuel in it already. It had about 900 units of fuel in it, something like that. So we've got fuel for the generators for quite some time. Also, like I was pointing out, the shop is done, and we'll walk in there. You can see also the fence is done, the perimeter fence. Let's take a look here. We can see this piece that we originally finished. Now we've got the gate here, and then I went ahead and brought this fence up, round, and down. And in fact, it goes all the way down to the water. So now the entire property, when I close this gate, because I'm, kind of a dope about that, but when I close this gate, the entire property is contained. So, not that we were having a big problem with Zeds showing up before, but now, in theory, the property is safe from any migration. So, coming up soon will be to go ahead and do these animal pens, like I was talking about. I think April is the first of the growing seasons for some plants. So we've got a few months, but in the agenda, probably not for chapter 5, is to go ahead and move the garden, get rid of the remaining chain link fence, get rid of these wood piles, and start to make the garden area look like we actually have planned to make it look the way it does, instead of just sort of making do with what's already there. But let's walk into the new shop. It's coming along. The game doesn't see it as a room yet, and I think that that's because we need to close this in with a garage door. And we need welding 6 for that. We only have welding 5. So a focus pretty early on is going to be to go ahead and get our welding up to 6. We don't have the book for it, so it's going to be a bit of a grind. But, you know, we'll get there. I'm probably going to go out and clear all those dead cars down on the way to Muldraw. Probably go down below Muldraw to the big interchange there near March Ridge and clear that intersection out. So there's definitely going to be some field work. We get a lot more XP for breaking down a functional car instead of a burned out car. And so I might try and find an area where there's a large number of those that's not that's not the mall, because that would be pretty sketchy. But we'll probably look for parking lots that have a lot of just vanilla cars or your basic stuff that isn't really interesting. And we'll go ahead and break those down. Thing is, the materials, either I'm going to leave those materials on the ground, which is against, you know, gives me a facial tick to leave stuff behind, or we're going to have to figure out how to store all that material, because that's going to be a lot of material. And at this point, we've got a freight container over here that's basically full of material. We've got a freight container here that's full. We've got a trailer here that's full, and we've got a trailer here that's starting to fill up. So we're definitely running out of places for scrap metal, things like that. I might, considering the amount of metal we have, go ahead instead and start looking at things I can weld and build out of metal here. Just try and get our welding up right here on the property, making something that's either useful or not. You know, as long as it gets us welding XP, I guess that's probably the primary consideration. You can see down here that I went ahead and expanded this. This fence line used to come right along here, but I went ahead and popped it out to give us just a little bit more room. I'm going to go sleep here real quick so that we can come out here in the light and see the rest of the property. Our food stores are still great. We've got plenty of freezer space, and it's all still packed full as it was the last episode. The amount of food that we're consuming really is very little, and we're at 86 pounds or 86 kilos right now and dropping. So we got a little chunky there with the problem with the leg. So I'm glad that we're losing some calories right now. I'm glad to see it, actually, because we need to. I'm gonna see if we can make something to eat here real quick, because I think we're gonna actually have to cook something. Oh, you know what? We've got this chicken. We unfortunately lost one of the hens because I went out looking around the countryside. I was gone for a few days, and I hadn't cleaned out the hutch before I left, so the hutch was 100% dirty. And, you know, you just don't do that. So we got a sick hen out of it, and she didn't make it. Henderson. We still have Henrietta. And one hen is fine because we've got 167 eggs. But, you know, I still don't like losing something like that because I wasn't taking care of it. Feels kind of bad, man. Feels bad, man. Anyways, here we are. Let me sleep real quick. If he stops sounding like he's... I picked the wrong voice. I really did. I accidentally picked the wrong voice, and so I gotta figure out if there's a way to change the voice after you get the game going so that he doesn't sound like a woman. Anyhow, you can see the snow has been coming, and we had just an absolute blizzard at one point, about 2 weeks ago, maybe, where I thought we were playing the Long Dark instead of playing Project Zomboid. But after that, the snow has, you know, all it really takes is one little rainstorm and the snow clears right up. I was looking at this island. We went ahead and did a walk all the way around this lake with the foraging turned on, just to try and, you know, get foraging up a little bit. And I was looking for comfrey because that was going to help the healing time on the fracture. But then I figured out comfrey is not available in the wintertime, so no comfrey. But then that made me realize that there's a little island out here, and now I'm, you know, wondering if we can build out to it. I'm not sure if we can or not, but sure would like to try. I think that would be cool. Anyways, we'll be breaking this fence down pretty soon. We'll clear out all these trees and get a pen built, the beginnings of a pen built over here, and then we'll go ahead and migrate all the animals over to it, demo all this, carry that across, connect it, and the animals will be along that fence line. What else do we have? So I had been looking around, driving around, looking for some different vehicles, and this is coming over from B41, Build 41, where KI5 has a great number of vehicles available in B41, and I had thought, because the couple that I looked at in the beginning were also for 42, I had thought that all his vehicles were available for 41 and 42. That's not the case. So the vehicles I was driving around looking for, the Hillbilly, the M35, and the ADI Bushmaster, aren't actually in B42. Really, the best things that we have available to us is going to be the Oshkosh P19 that we have here, 2 of them, and the Humvee. I just enabled some Chevy military trucks, flatbeds, and so on, but they are not anywhere near the storage capacity of this. And so this may very well be our main go-to drive around, nomad, take those things. Wow, that word has just completely escaped me. Where you go off on a quest, when you go off on a thing. Expedition. This will be our expedition vehicle, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my first choice. But if we're gonna play 42, I guess it is my first choice because that's what we have. I'm gonna go over to the mall soon. We've got another couple Humvees over there that I've pulled off to the side, so we're gonna bring those back as well. And there's another freight container over there that I want to bring in, so that we'll have a total of 4 on the property, and I think that's probably a good place to stop. 1 or 2 was probably a fine place to stop, but it feels like we need just 1 more. So anyhow, we've got a couple more Humvees in the future, and we have now with Welding 5 the ability to up armor those and to put bull bars on and roof racks. You can see that we put a roof rack here on the Oshkosh P19, which is another 130 storage or so. Very, very useful. They have similar roof racks, KI5 does, for the Humvee. So that makes this a really fine vehicle. You've got 150 storage inside. You got 100 on the roof, so you got 250 total and 4 seats. And all of this storage, except for the roof, is available from inside the cabin. So it's a very versatile car. It's got a short wheelbase, nice turning radius. You can reinforce the bull bar on front and put window and door armor on. So Humvee is probably going to become our go-to general drive around and go fetch something vehicle, and the P19 is probably going to be our, hey, let's set off on an expedition 3, 4, 5 days, and let's clean the chicken hutch first. But this will be the thing that we take off in and drive around and do long-term trips on. So anyways, that is the state of Tripura Farm today. The immediate plan is to go ahead and start working on welding, see if I can get this door on, and see if we can turn this into a building instead of just some walls and a roof. As you can see, we don't get snow in here, but it's still not technically a room as far as the game is concerned. So it's cold in here and so on, and we still see the weather effect. If it's raining, you can see the droplets. You just don't see them landing on the ground. That's where we are. This is Ace. Thanks for coming back for Chapter 5. It's a short one this time, but tune into the intermediaries, or tune into a few of them, or pull them up and fast forward through them, whatever you want to do. You can see that we're building everything. We're not cheating anything in. It's all getting built by hand and by broken leg, as it were. I'll see you next time. I'll be doing Chapter 5.1 here in just a few minutes. See, there's the snow, and yeah, you can see, I mean, you don't see snow if you're in this house. Like right here, we can see snow. But if we come over here and we walk into the building, you can see that snow effect goes away. So we're going to figure out why this isn't a room, and we're going to get that fixed and get welding up. And we're getting really close to starting to, I've already started to bring a couple other skills up. You can see that carving is now up to 4. We had to do some carving of handles, wood handles, and so on. And we've got the books for that. So carving is going to go up very quickly. We're getting really close to going ahead and starting to work on some of these other things. Masonry would be important. I would like to be able to do floors like this rather than a wood floor in here, because that's just going to look silly. And foraging. I'm probably going to go out and do a little bit more foraging too, and try and get this up to 7, 6 done, 7 ready. And then I'm probably not going to touch tracking or trapping anytime soon, because we just don't need them. We've got food for days. The cow is producing milk, and the milk is producing butter. Between butter and the meat that we already have stored up, and the fact that I'm going to have to go out and cull some more of the pigs, and I haven't even bothered to count the rabbits. I'm a little bit afraid to, but we're probably going to have just a freezer full, a chest freezer full of pork and rabbit meat by the time I'm done, and that will probably take 2 or 3 days of game time just to clean the barnyard out and get the rabbit population and the piglet population under control. So that's what's coming. 5.1 through 5. Something. Come back for it. I really appreciate you sticking around. This is Ace. I'll see you then. I'm out of here.